Hello and welcome to the next demo, which is going to be a focus on loading images, and we're also working with the keyPressed function. So I'm going to quickly go over a little quick sketch to show you what keyPressed and how keyPressed works. And then we'll go in and we'll start creating a collage with some preloaded images. So first thing we want to do is create a bigger canvas size. And let's make our canvas white with 255. And we're just gonna make a rainbow paintbrush here. So rainbow paintbrush, change size with keyPressed. Cool, so we're just gonna reiterate some things that we should be pretty good at by now. Changing the color mode. We'll give ourselves a little square. And since we want to make it into a paintbrush, it'll be located at our mouse X, mouse Y position and start at a size of 50. And of course we need to put that rect mode to center. Ta-da. And put that background up in the setup function so that we can draw. Here we are. Since we want to make it a rainbow paintbrush, we'll do what we did before and animate colors. So we'll use the keyword let c equals 0, color change. We're gonna fill our square with C. And animate C with C plus equals 1 and cycle through all of the colors on the color wheel with a C equals C modulo 360. And add a no stroke. There we go. So we've got something like a rainbow paintbrush, and just to add a little bit of fun that we learned last class, let's make that square rotate. So we'll just do create another variable r, 0 for rotation, and then we will just above this square that we're drawing with the rotate function, and we're going to work with radians. So we have to change our R to radians, and we have to move the rotation, so R plus equals 1. and it's not rotating around the center. So if we remember from last class, in order to rotate this square around the center, we're gonna have to translate. So we want it to be around the center of where our mouse X and mouse Y are. So we're gonna have to take this information down here and put it in the translate function. So mouse X, mouse Y, and just don't forget to change this down here to 0. In our square function, the XY is gonna be 0. We're gonna translate to mouse X, mouse Y so that the rotate is also translated. So translate is up here above. Let's see, if we put translate below rotate, right, it doesn't work. So we have to translate both the rotation and the square. Oops. Undo. So hopefully that makes some sense. Cool. So now in order to change the size, we'll just come down here and we'll create a keyPressed function. Oh, so we have to put function keyPressed. And so this is keyPressed is a part of the p5 library. So we can come over here to the references. They also have a key is pressed, but since we're creating that function keyPressed, we'll take a look at that. So the description, the keyPressed function is called once every time the key is pressed. The key code for the key that was pressed is stored in the key code variable. So each key on your keyboard has a key code, and that key code can be found. Okay, so instead of key code, actually, we're gonna put if key equals and in quotations, you'll just select the key that you want. So we'll put S. So if key is S, then the size would increase by 10. So let's try that out. Oh, and don't forget to, after you press play, in order for this to work, and you go over here and you can move around your square, but you're pressing S and it's doing nothing, make sure you just like click with your mouse on the sketch, and then you can press S and it'll increase by 10 here. Ta-da! So now, let's create another if statement so we can decrease the size. So if key is equal to, using two equal signs, is equal to D, then S minus equals 10. Click on the sketch, press S to make sure it's getting larger, and D to see that now it's growing smaller. Cool. So we can change our paintbrush here. And that's just like a quick little sketch for us to start out the day. So now let's go and create another sketch. And we will title this DS334C. Demo 5 P image. Okay, so I have created over here a folder of images that I want to use, and they're PNGs because I want the background of them to be translucent or transparent. And so basically, I'm just going to open that up and come over here in my sketch. And so I've got it saved as p-image here. I'm logged in. And if you press this arrow right here next to your sketch.js, you can see like the index file, the sketch, and this style here, which we're not going to mess. We'll come over here and we'll mess with this later for anybody that wants to make NFTs. But for right now, we're not going to mess with any of that. But under, like next to sketch files, this arrow, we'll do upload file, and you can just drag and drop all of the images that you want to use, or you can go in and select them. And so you'll see over here, it's uploading my I1, I2, I3, I4, and my landscape. And you can cancel right out of that. And in order to import your images, you have to do a function called preload. And you'll put it up at the top before the setup. And this is a function that just loads your image. It only loops once. And here we will have to create a variable for all of our like different images. So we'll do let I1, and then we could do comma I2, I3, I4. Then we could do let landscape. So and declare those variables here. So I1, and this is how you load it. You go your variable equals load image, open close parentheses, inside do the quotation marks, and you just do whatever it's like you have it titled as. So I1.png, and if you have a JPEG, you'll do .jpg. So that will then load my eye, and I have to do it for every single image that I've got, and I've got 5. So and for this landscape, just make sure in the quotation, it's exactly as it's written over here. So I've got a capital L titled in my PNG, so that's what I have to do. Even though it's not, I didn't make the variable capitalized. Cool. So, okay, so all of our images are now loaded. Now, in order to have it displayed, we have to come down here in the draw function and do image variable name 0, 0. So let's just put, since our background will be landscape, we'll do landscape 0, 0, whatever image you want to put first. Okay. Down here in the console, it just told me that I accidentally capitalized load and preload, so I have to fix that. Cool. So here our landscape is being drawn, but the size is incorrect. So there's a couple different ways that you could fix this problem. And the one that I normally do is, if I know I want my canvas size to be 800 by 600 pixels, before I load in the image, I will just go and in Photoshop change the pixel width to 800 and height to 600. Or you can use this resize function. And the way that you do that is you just call your landscape and you do landscape.resize. Resize to width height. So however big your canvas width and height is, it will then resize to that. So like say I want it to be for like a smaller canvas, it's gonna resize it. So that's pretty useful here. Oops. Cool. So next thing let's do is let's draw one of our other images. So whatever you've chosen to bring to class, just choose the next thing that you want to display in your drawing or your sketch. So I'll just do I1 and I'll put it at width divided by 2. I'll just put like right in the middle for right now. Oops. Let's just do I1 0 0 when we're drawing it. And there we go. So now it's just way too big. So we need to change the size here. So, and also if we want a variable size, we need to come up and create that variable for the eye size. So we'll do let I1 size, and then we can do I1.resize, and we'll put I1 size for the resize, I1 size. Verify whether I1 has resize. Okay. So okay, so we've got here I1 dot resize, and if we just want to do one side resized to keep it the same like ratio, we just change one of the variables and then put 0. And then up here in the top, we'll just declare what the size needs to be. So put 100, and it's being drawn up at the 0 0 here. So we could change that by going width divided by 2, height divided by 2, so it'll be drawn in the middle there. Change that size because I want it to be a bit bigger, but it's being shifted over, and the reason why is because we have to center that image. So just up in the up at the top of the draw function, you can put in the function image mode center. Image mode center. Okay, so we're gonna have to come back here where the landscape is being drawn and just put width divided by 2, height divided by 2. So it's drawn in the center. Okay, and so we are now able to resize our eye. And let's see what it looks like if we make it really, really big. Maybe even bigger. Okay, so it starts to get pixelated at this point. So let's take down that size back to 300. And now using the, let's do what we learned earlier, so the keyPressed function. So if our function keyPressed, open close squiggly, if key is equal to, let's say, S, then I1 size plus equals 10. If the key equals D, then minus equals 10. So make sure you click on your sketch, and ta-da! You can increase the size. Of course, we're losing resolution here, or you can decrease it. The fact that when we resize it, it gets blurry is a bit of an issue. So instead of changing the size with keyPressed, let's just change the X coordinate and the Y coordinate. So we'll come down here and do make variables for I1X, I1Y. And in the image, draw it at I1X and I1Y, or whatever you have it titled. And so if key, or actually let's change its starting point, and we will just declare the variables up here, but also tell it what to do in the setup function, just to get used to that. So I1X equals, we'll do it at the midpoint, draw it at the middle of the canvas. Oh wait, yeah. So function keyPressed. So if we want to instead go move the X to the left and the right, and we want to choose the arrow key, we come over in the reference, and so we need to use the key code variable left underscore arrow, right underscore arrow. So if key is left underscore arrow, then make I1x, we want it to go left, so minus equals 10. Put key code here instead of key for the left arrow to work. So I1x minus equals 10. And right arrow, get rid of those parentheses because we're working with the key code, not the key now. Oops. Oh my lord. Key code. And the right arrow, we want it to be plus equals 10. So let's try that out. Cool. We still have I size. So change that to I1Y. And click your sketch. So it'll move. Aha. Yeah, we just want to change the X for right now. So, if the key code is equal to the left arrow, so we aren't using the quotation marks because instead we're actually using the key code, not the key. And we went in here in the references under keyPressed, and they've got like a list of these key codes. And so if key code is equal to the left arrow, then IX goes -10. And if key code is equal to the right arrow, then do IX at +10. So click on your sketch and test that one out. Ta-da! So you can move it around that way. And then we could do copy and paste all of that. If key code equals the up arrow and down arrow, up, down, then we'll change the Y. Click on your sketch. So now you can move it left, all over the place. So this is another thing, way you could probably end up making a pretty simple game. Woo! That's fun. Okay, let's add in some of our other images now. Okay, so far we have loaded images, we've resized the size and used keyPress to relocate our image. Now we're going to create a thing called a state machine. So we'll create another keyPressed function, and it will be our state machine. And that way we can press various keys on the keyboard to load different images. So let's just start by creating if statements. So if key equals W, then state equals 1. For I1, and then copy and paste, because we've got 4 I's, so we'll have 4 states. We'll have a state 2, state 3, and state 4. And we'll use W, or you know what, let's just do FDSA. That way it's just our left hand. FDSA. Okay, so this is our state machine, and let's do just one more. So if key equals R, then we will make our state equal a random number between 1 and 5. So if it's a random number between 1 and 5, so if we put 1 and 4, then it would never reach 4. It would only get to like 3.9. So we have to do 5, a random number between 1 and 5. And then also here, we have to, because it's going to select a random float, so it'll do like 2.5, 2.3, but since we want it to just choose 1, 2, 3, or 4, we have to turn this random float number into an integer. So using the floor function will round down our numbers. So if you do floor, now any number between 1 and 5, it'll round it down and it'll create an integer. Creates integer. So you have to round it down, so 1 to 4. So if we press R, it'll choose randomly between our images. Now if we come up top and we say let state equal 1, and then now we just have to draw out our images. So we've already got image I right here, the I1 image. So we can do if state is equal to 1, then draw our I1. And then we could copy that and paste for the second one. If state equals 2, draw I2. And we could come in and make X, Y size values for all of that so that we could like then change it later, which we should probably just go ahead and do for all of them. So like let I2x, I3x, or whatever you're using, and then let I2 size equals, I'll start 300 for all of them. and then paste that for I3, or I3 size, and make one more for our I4. Oh, you have to change the X to Y. Cool. So now down here in state 2, we'll just do change the 1 to 2. And let's just double check and make sure everything works. So now if we come into our state machine and we want state 2, so we have to press D. And it doesn't change. I forgot to come over here and declare that we need our I2 to be placed in the center. So all of them, whenever we change the state, they're all just going to be at the center for right now. 3, 3, and 4, 4. Sketch, tidy code. Cool. Save that. So it should work now. Haha. Let's change that back. Cool. So if we press D, yeah. So so we've declared all of our eyes to be placed in the middle, and now we've got our state here, and if we press play and we try to press the D, nothing's going to change because we've got these like 2 functions keyPressed here. And so instead of just doing that redundant statement or that redundant function, we'll just take everything that we made for our state machine and put it at the bottom of the first keyPressed function. So state machine and move images is right there. So now we could press D and it goes to the second image, and we press F and it's the first one. But it's only moving the first one as well. So we could come in here and just add I to X. Cool. So we got the second one, and we can move it around too. Go back to the first one, move it around. Go back to the second one, move it around, and change back and forth. And we can do this for all 4 of our eyes if we would like. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Now, whenever we press A, we got our first eye, second eye, third eye, and fourth eye. But the other eyes are a little bit big, which is not what I want. So I'm just gonna resize them to 100 and see if that does the trick. In the setup function, I'm just gonna change my I1 size equals 300. I2 size, I3 size, I4 size. Oh, so let's go back. Yeah, so, okay, I was changing the states and the size wasn't changing, but the reason is I just wasn't paying close enough attention, and in the resize, instead of doing like both the object and the variable, I just changed the variable, so I need to come back and change the object too. And now, whenever we click our different buttons, ta-da! It changes the states, and so it changes the eye. And we should be able to come in and move them around. But in order to move the third and fourth eye, we just need to add the variables down here. So now we are able to change our eye if we click on our sketch. 4 different eyes, and all of them should be able to move up and down. So for the, make sure you change that to Y. Gotta make sure all of the components are correct. Okay, so now all of our eyes move up, down, left, right. And then if we press the R, it'll just select one at random.